The restaurant, Lamezone, buzzed softly with the clinking of glasses and gentle music playing in the background. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows, spreading golden streaks across the neatly arranged white tables. Emily, a young waitress, adjusted her apron and wiped her trembling hands, trying to stay calm. Her mother's hospital bills were growing every day, and her little brother needed tuition money she simply didn't have. Even though she was exhausted from weeks of double shifts, she carried herself with quiet dignity. She had learned to face life's challenges with strength and grace. Today, something felt different. A sense of tension hung in the air, and her instincts told her this afternoon would not be like the others. As she walked toward a table near the corner, the audience senses her nervousness and curiosity. Who is sitting there, and what will happen when she serves them? Before we move forward, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it right now? And don't forget to like and subscribe to Black and Wronged for more heart-touching stories. Let's get started. The door of Lamezone swung open, and a group of businessmen walked in, their confidence filling the room even before they sat down. Among them was Colton, a billionaire investor known for his sharp deals and even sharper tongue. The moment he entered, whispers and glances followed him. His presence alone made the other guests feel small. Emily noticed him immediately, but she focused on her task. Carrying a tray of drinks, she approached the table, her hand steady but her heart racing. The audience can clearly see the contrast between the powerful and the humble. Colton in his tailored suit, radiating authority, and Emily, exhausted yet graceful, representing quiet strength. Will Colton notice Emily as she serves him? And if he does, what will he say? Colton leaned back in his chair, speaking in fluent German to his companions. He smirked as he noticed Emily shaking hands, while she carefully placed the drinks on the table. Look at her, he said, his tone full of sarcasm. Even serving seems too much for people like her. Laughter erupted around the table. Emily's heart pounded, but she froze for just a moment. She understood every word. The audience feels the tension. Immediately, the underdog is being humiliated, right in front of everyone. Colton's arrogance fills the room, making it clear how little he values respect for those he sees as below him. Will Emily stay silent, or will she finally respond to his cruel words? Instead of running away or pretending she didn't hear, Emily took a deep breath and met Colton's eyes. Her hands steady, she spoke in flawless German. Calmly, she said that respect does not come from wealth, and intelligence does not come from status. She reminded him that the language he used to belittle others was once something she studied out of love, not to show off, but to connect with people. The laughter around the table vanished instantly. The room grew quiet, every guest sensing the shift in power. Colton, who was used to being feared and admired, now felt something unfamiliar, doubt. Emily's words were firm but gentle, showing confidence without aggression. The audience experiences the shock and awe of seeing the oppressed, wield strength in the most graceful way. How will Colton react to being challenged calmly? Will he laugh it off, or will he finally feel the weight of her words? The room fell completely silent. Colton's confident smirk faded, replaced by an unfamiliar uncertainty. His companions glanced at each other, awkward and uneasy. The power in the room had shifted. The arrogant billionaire now seemed small, while Emily stood tall, calm, and dignified. She didn't raise her voice or demand attention. She simply held her ground, her eyes steady, showing that true strength comes from quiet confidence, not wealth or status. Guests watched in astonishment, realizing that sometimes courage and composure can outweigh arrogance. Will this moment change Colton, or will he return to his old ways? Later, when it was time for the bill, everyone expected Colton to complain, maybe even demand that Emily be fired. But instead he stood up. His expression had changed, no longer smug, but thoughtful and almost human. He apologized first in German, then in English, admitting that he had judged her unfairly and misunderstood what respect truly meant. He left a generous tip, not out of guilt, but out of gratitude. The audience sees that courage and dignity had a tangible reward, a powerful reminder that standing up calmly can change even the hardest hearts. Emily's quiet strength had softened someone used to arrogance and power. Could this small act of honesty from Colton lead to even bigger changes in his life? A few weeks later, Emily received a letter at Lamezone. It was from Colton. He wrote that their encounter had made him rethink his behavior and even the culture of his company. He shared that he had grown up poor, and over time, success had made him forget humility and empathy. Inside the letter was a scholarship form and a sponsorship offer. Colton had created a fund in Emily's name to help underprivileged students continue their education. He wanted her to be the first recipient. Emily couldn't believe it. A few brave words had not only defended her dignity, but also sparked change in someone else's heart. Will Emily accept the scholarship and pursue her dream? Or will she stay tied to her old struggles? Sunlight poured through the tall windows of Lamezone, warming the empty tables as Emily stayed behind, cleaning with quiet care. Every gesture showed pride and calm, a reflection of her inner strength. Across the city, in a tall glass building, Colton sat by a window holding the letter she had received. He whispered a soft thank you to the young waitress who had reminded him what true respect and humanity meant. The audience sees two worlds, one filled with humility and grace, the other filled with wealth and reflection. Emily's courage had created a bridge, showing how even a small act of bravery can ripple outward, touching lives in ways no one could predict. What lessons will the audience take from Emily's courage and poise? Emily's courage had not only defended her dignity but also reignited a sense of humanity in Colton. She accepted the scholarship, resumed her studies, and eventually became a professional translator, fulfilling the dream she once thought was lost. Years later, she stood before a university audience, sharing her story about resilience, kindness, and quiet strength. The story ends with hope and inspiration, showing that even a single act of bravery can create lasting change. It reminds the audience that kindness is not weakness, and standing up with grace can influence hearts far beyond what we imagine. If this story touched your heart and reminded you of the power of kindness, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Black and Wronged. And tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were in Emily's place? Stayed silent or spoken your truth? Imagine if everyone acted with courage like Emily, how different would the world be?